Well, guys, as you know, we are working on the final project. We have been working with that. The first step of the project was the creation of a top 10 related to fake news. Yes, I have just like 11 workshops on the platform. I don't know who is missing. I know that Gabby is missing, but she can deliver it a bit later. But I don't know if someone else is missing. If someone else is missing, let me know right now, please.
Profe, ¿quién falta?
That's what I am asking. I am going to repeat the ones that I have in the forum, and if you don't listen your name, please tell me, teacher, I'm not there. Okay? So I have Juan David, Santiago, Juliana, Isabela, Vale Venegas, Juan Pablo, Mariana, Camilo, María Jose, Vale Urrego, and Natalia. Who is missing? Just Gaby? I think so. I think that it's just Gabby. Well, guys, that was the first step of our final project. We didn't have time to share the top 10s with our partners because of the time. For that reason, I am going to be checking that and I am going to be taking into account just the presentation that you did, okay? And I am going to share with you my screen and I am going to let you know what are we going to do today. So give me 1 second while I do it. Okay, this is it. Well, in the first hour you were working with Lisa, so it's okay. That means that we are going to begin in this hour with this workshop, okay? Today we are going to begin with the phase 2 of our final project. The phase 2 is a guide to spot fake news. Do you know what is the meaning of spot if I say spot fake news?
Yes, dear. For example, the cancellation of the World Cup.
Mm, not really.
Teacher, but this is
Okay.
sport.
Spot fake news. It's not a sport, but spot.
I think it's sport. Perdón,
No,
perdón.
no. Check my screen. Spot. A guide to spot fake news. What is a spot? What is to spot something?
I know it's like saber, like como saber como una guía, como sí, como saber cuando es una fake news.
Yes, it's something like that. It's a guide or a manual to identify. It's like detectar. Yes, a spot literally is detectar. So you are going to create a guide to spot fake news. You are going to take into account, do you remember the videos that we watched in the semester? Those videos gave you some tips to do it. If you don't remember very well, you can go to the videos. You just have to look for the lessons that says in the news, like this one and this one. And you have to check the forums because there you have the videos and all the things that we did on those weeks. So guys, today you are going to create that guide, but of course it is going to be well done. So it has to be streaking. Do you know what is the meaning of streaking? Or what can you imagine if I say this must be streaking and it should contain tips? Streaking. What is that word? What can you imagine? A synonym is attractive. So what is streaking? Guys, say something.
Llamativo.
Llamativo. So this must be streaking. The manual must be like well done, streaking. It should contain tips like tip number 1, do this. Tip number 2, do this. Whatever. It must be a manual. So the idea is that with this manual, you should avoid people to believe that all those things that they read are real. Yes. So like, if you want to spot a fake news, you have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to explain it. You have to go give some examples. It's a guide. It's a manual. Yeah. So I am going to show you an example. This is, of course, is not a manual of fake news. It's about another topic, but it's a manual. So let's check this one. This is, for example, about comedy. Comedy in the classroom. How can you create comedy in the classroom? That's the manual. So can you see that even from the first page, it is really attractive? It has images, it has colors, it has a lot of things that calls the attention, that makes it attractive. So people want to read it. That's the idea. You have to create something like this, beautiful, to call the attention. This is like the first page, like the cover page. Let me check. Thanks. So, give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the first page, the cover page. So from the beginning, it must be like really, really nice. Okay. Then you just have to begin writing your guide, your manual. So you can include, for example, if it's really long, I am not going to give you like, I am not going to say like, it has to be of 5 pages. It has to be of 2 pages because it's your manual, it's your workshop. You are going to decide. If you want to include something like this, like like the contents part, you can do it. If you don't want it, it's okay. Of course, it should contain like an introduction because it's a manual, so you have to say something like, welcome to this manual, here you are going to find tips to avoid fake news, blah 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 blah, be happy, be nice, read it. So, introduction. And then you are going to begin developing your manual. So for example, you can do something like this. I am going to make it bigger just to show you. You can do something like this, for example. Can you see that you have like a title, for example, fake news. You have some descriptions and then you have tips. Yes, tips for this. Tips to avoid fake news. And you can have it like this. Or maybe you can do it like each page is a tip. So, for example, I have this one here, and it's like title, description, tips, and like some tips like in addition. You can do it this way. If you want to do it in a different way, for example, this one, you can have it also like this. Title, description, tip 1, this, tip 2, this, tip 3, this. So it's up to you. Or you can do it like this, a manual. So title, description, and you can have like tip number 1, an image and a description. Tip number 2, an image and a description. Can you see? But it doesn't matter how am I doing it. It doesn't matter because it is attractive. It is calling the attention of the person who is going to read it. So there are plenty of ways to do this. For example, if you do something like this, it must be just this. It's a manual. I can read it in a good way. And I am going to be able to understand. So I also have, look this, I also have like testimonies or something like that, so you can include it in your manual. So those are like some examples that I can give you. If you want to include, for example, examples, I have here like examples of scripts, but if you want to include example of fake news, and you want to paste a screenshot with a fake news, and another screenshot showing why this is fake news, or just 2 fake news different to exemplify people how is a fake news, you can do it. The important thing is to create a manual to help people to spot fake news. Do you have any question up to this point?
Yes.
Tell me, Isa.
Teacher, I have.
Isa?
No, wait. Es que mi mamá está hablando muy duro y no puedo hablar.
No, I can listen to you in a good way.
Okay.
Go ahead.
O sea, todo esto
English?
lo tengo que poner en
English?
el sketch, ¿sí?
No,
Yes.
this is not the sketch. This is a manual to avoid fake news. This is another step of the final project. So, for example,
O sea que todo esto lo vamos haciendo, o sea, el sketch es lo último, ¿sí?
el sketch es lo último. Después de esto es que vamos a empezar finalmente con la escritura del guión.
Ah, ok.
¿Por qué hacemos esto? En el primero para tener ideas, en este porque al final de su sketch ustedes tienen que dar como una reflexión cortita, diciendo como recuerden que para evadir las noticias falsas pueden hacer esto, 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 y ahí es donde va a entrar toda la investigación que hicieron acá. Can you see?
Yes, teacher, thank you.
So, any other question, guys, about the manual? No questions at all? Are you sure?
Me, teacher, I don't understand.
What don't you understand? Be a little bit more specific, please.
Sincerely, I say that yo no soy el único que no entiende, estoy seguro, profe, pero no entendí bien qué toca hacer.
Okay, you are going to create a manual or a guide. Crear un manual o una guía. Yes? That will help people to spot fake news or to identify fake news. Okay? That's what you are going to do. You are going to write that manual. And the manual has to be striking, has to be attractive. Yes? Has to call the attention, has to be beautiful. Okay? That's the main idea of the manual that you are going to create. Questions up to that point?
No, teacher, but
Okay.
this is the project?
This is
final?
a step
final
of the
point?
final project. Yes, this is part of the final project, of course. How is...
But I can do a magazine, for example?
Well, you can do it like a magazine, but it's not a magazine, it's a guide. No es una revista, es una guía, un manual.
Okay,
so,
okay.
I am giving you some examples to do it. So, I am going to show you the examples again. The first thing is that the main page, like the first page of your manual, of your guide, has to be attractive, has to be really nice. An example is this one. If you realize this is a manual, tell me.
This is by Canva?
You can do it with Canva, you can use it, but no, this is not done with Canva.
What page do you recommend me?
Well, Canva is a really good option because you can do all these things there. Because you can add images, you can use a lot of things, and Canva is going to let you create beautiful designs. But also, you can use things like, if you know how to manage different programs, you can use things like, you can use Photoshop, you can use Grove, you can use Publisher, you can use a lot of things. But I guess that the easiest one is Canva. Or maybe if you want to do it like Camilo was saying, you can look for a page to create magazines online, for example, and you can maybe use a format of a magazine to create your manual. It's up to you. But Canva is really easy to use, so you can do it in that page. For example, in Canva you can create a poster like this one, because you can change letters, you can add images, you can use colors, so you can do it in that way. So Camilo, I am going to back to your question. So the first page for all of you must be like attractive. It should tell like a guide to spot fake news and images and colors, and well, I wanted to read it. You have to make me want it to read it, okay? Then, as soon as you finish with like the cover page, you are going to begin with the writing of your manual. If you want to add like contents, page 1 contents, page 2 whatever, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, it's not mandatory. Yes, the important thing is to have a really nice cover and then to write the manual. It is mandatory to have an introduction. Your manual must contain an introduction. So hello, here you are going to find different tips to avoid fake news. Remember that today's society is full of lies and you can believe in everything, blah, 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 blah. An introduction to present your manual to the world, okay? Questions up to this point? Camilo?
Yes, teacher, I work with the news if I write in the forum yesterday.
You are not going to write news here. You are going to write a manual to spot fake news. Lo que vas a hacer es escribir un manual para identificarlas, para evitarlas, para detectar noticias falsas. Así que no tienes, realmente no tienes...
Noticias falsas?
Yes. A manual to spot fake news. A manual to identify fake news. You are going to give
Okay, okay.
tips to avoid this. Okay? Any other question? So, as I was saying, it must contain an introduction, and as soon as you finish with your introduction, you are going to begin with the writing of your manual. So, I am giving you some examples to do it. The first example that I gave you was this one. You can do something like this. Let me put it like really, really bigger. Really big. 1 second. So, the first example is this one. You can use like a title, a description like fake news. Fake news are blah 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 blah, whatever. And then you can say like tips to avoid fake news, tips to spot fake news. And you can write the tips like this. That's the first example, that's the first way that you can use to do it. So if you realize, for example, I have here the title and all the tips and all the things. Like this, tips for this, tips for students, tips for teacher, tips for the family. So maybe you can use it like that. Tips to spot fake news in family, tips to spot fake news kids, tips to this, tips to that. So you can use it in this order and to put images and all those things. This is the first example of the format that you can use. Questions? Let's continue. I gave you another example that it was this one. So you can have the title, tips to spot fake news, a short description about it, and then you can have tip number 1, this, tip number 2, this, tip number 3, this. Or you can create names for each tip. Pueden crear nombres para cada tip, no solo tip 1, sino como acá, como está acá. So tip number 1 and the name, full stops. Tip number 2, exclamation marks, whatever. You can create names and to add a description of the tip. This is the second way that you can use to create your manual. Questions up to this point? Okay. And I gave you another example to do it, that is this one. Maybe you want to create your manual a bit shorter or maybe a bit easier to understand, even for kids, for everyone. So in that way, you can use this other format. So in this case, you can add title, again, tips to spot fake news or whatever the title that you want to use, a short description about it, and then you can say like tips. So number 1, the name of the tip, an image, and a description. Sorry. So this is another way. You can do it just like this, with a lot of images in order, beautiful, and descriptions with the name of the tips. This is another way that you can use, another format that you can use to create a manual. If you want to use a different format, you can do it too. It is up to you. It's your workshop, it's your manual, it's your guide. So you are going to decide how to do it. What is mandatory? To have a cover page, tener una portada, a beautiful cover page with the name of the manual and everything. To have an introduction that explains what is the manual going to be about. And to do it, to develop the manual in a beautiful way. You have to include tips to spot fake news. Questions? Camilo, is it clear now?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Okay, guys, do you have questions? If you have questions, this is the moment to let me know. 100% sure, guys?
Teacher, when we have to send you this guide?
Well, we are going to begin working on this today. We are going to continue tomorrow in class, and we are going to check if you are able to finish. By Friday, I hope to finish with this.
Okay.
But we have to work. My ideal thing is to begin today, to finish tomorrow, and on Friday to work with reading plan, for example. But if we don't have time to do it in that way, if you need more time to work on your guides, we are going to take more time to do it. Yes, you are going to do this in class. So we are going to begin today, tomorrow we are going to continue, and we are going to be checking. Vamos a ir revisando si necesitan más tiempo, si terminaron. So this is a process. So we are going to be working on that. Okay? So any other question, guys? If you don't have more questions, I guess that we can begin with the workshop. So just let me check the chat. So yes, don't forget to use like English. So Mariana, the manual is not whatever topic you want. The manual is about fake news, like how to spot fake news. That's the main topic. Cómo detectar noticias falsas. You can do it whatever you want, but it has to be a manual to spot fake news. Okay? Now, in the case of Natalia, if you do it with Canva, you can do it like with presentations, you can do it with posters, you can do it with, well, I guess that you can use actually all the formats that you have there. Because Canva is going to let you add pages. So it's really easy to use. And I don't know if you have any other question.
Teacher, can I use like plantilla of folleto? I don't know.
You can use it, yes. For example, if you want to create your manual like, if you want to create your manual like a, one second, like a brochure, you can do it. But it has to be like really well done, okay? I don't know that page, Maho. I don't know Geomag, I have never used it, but if you believe there is a good page and that you are going to be able to do the things that I am requesting, yes, of course. You can decide whatever page, you can use whatever page you want to use. You can use, for example, an edition program. You can do whatever you want, actually. The important thing is to create the manual to spot fake news. That's the step number 2 of the project, and that's what you have to give me. A manual to spot fake news. Any other question?
Teacher, o sea, ay, es que no sé cómo decirlo en inglés. Mira, we do a manual of how do you prevent the fake news, yes?
Yes.
In the, I don't know how do you say portada,
Cover page.
cover page, we need write about the introduction for in this esto es como
In
bueno
this
sí in
yes.
this I learned how do you prevent the fake news, sí, algo así.
Something like that, but be careful because the cover page is the cover page. A ver, la página de portada es solo la página de portada. Es lo primero que yo veo y que digo como, uy, quiero leer esto. La siguiente página es la que va a tener la introducción. No me puedes mandar en la portada la introducción porque nadie quiere leerlo primero. O sea, si tú ves un libro de entrada y la portada está llena de letra, ya te va a dar flojera leerlo. Por ejemplo, una revista, si tú no sabes de qué tema es. Tienes que tener una portada bien atractiva y ya en la siguiente ya es como abrir una revista, amor, es un manual. Yo miro la portada y digo, uy, súper, lo abro y veo la introducción que ya me dice, ah, mira, se va a tratar sobre esto y ya empiezas a desarrollarlo.
Ok.
Okay.
Gracias.
Okay, any other question? Juan David, do you have questions?
No.
No?
Teacher.
Okay, Vale Urrego, as I was telling to Isa, you can do it as a brochure, but it has to be really well done. O sea, lo pueden hacer como un brochure, pero tengan en cuenta que de pronto tienen muy poquito espacio. Pero lo pueden hacer como un brochure siempre y cuando esté bien hecho y esté llamativo y esté bonito y tenga la información que necesito saber. O sea, si tú entregas ese brochure y tú lo ves y dices como, estoy segura que la persona que lea esto va a tener mayor claridad al momento de detectar noticias falsas. Si estás así de seguro, lo puedes hacer como un brochure, pero es lo mismo para todos, chicos. Ustedes deciden cómo hacerlo, it's up to you, pero tiene que tener lo que les digo: a beautiful cover page, an introduction, and tips to spot fake news. 3 things. Any other question?
And is 10 fake news?
Can you please repeat your question? I didn't understand. Juan David, can you repeat your question, please?
In this contenido.
Content?
Va 10 fake news. The 10 fake news.
No, the 10th fake news is another step. A ver, chicos, no se confundan. Una cosa, la primera fase del proyecto era el top 10. Ya nada que ver con esto. La segunda fase del proyecto es el manual. Entonces no tiene nada que ver porque en el top 10 estuvieron las noticias falsas que más impacto han causado. Ya, se acabó ahí esa fase del proyecto. Pueden usar, por ejemplo, si quieren una noticia de esas para inspirarse para su sketch. Pero la primera fase del proyecto ya culminó. Ya crearon el top 10, ya está en Q10, ya, listo. La segunda fase del proyecto es la que vamos a comenzar, que es el manual. Aquí no tienen que incluir el top 10. Aquí tienen que crear un manual para detectar noticias falsas, darle tips a las personas para no caer en noticias falsas, para no creer en todo lo que leen. Yes? So it's completely different, es completamente diferente. Si dentro del manual quieres poner un ejemplo, o sea, como decir como un ejemplo de noticia falsa para que no caigas en esto, es esto, esta, y pones un screenshot o escribes una noticia falsa como ejemplo, lo puedes hacer. Pero el top 10 no tiene nada que ver con el manual, son dos cosas diferentes. Este manual es para detectar noticias falsas, ¿ok? Not really. We are going to begin working on that today, but we don't have a specific time to finish. As I was telling you, o sea, como yo les digo, no hay como un tiempo que yo les diga, ya, es para mañana, punto, lo tienen que hacer, no. Vamos a ir construyendo esto en clase. ¿Qué es mi ideal? Decir como no, sí, arrancan hoy y mañana terminan y el viernes plan lector. Que si ustedes miran los foros está más o menos así. Pero pues obviamente, chicos, es un manual y tiene que estar bien hecho y no, yo no les puedo decir como ya, me entregan porque no sería justo de mi parte. Vamos a ir trabajando, vamos a ir avanzando y vamos a ir viendo. Si terminamos mañana, súper. Si tenemos que tomar tiempo el viernes, tomamos tiempo el viernes. Que sí es importante terminar con esa fase esta semana. ¿Listo? Sería súper bien, súper bueno si podemos terminar con este manual entre hoy y el viernes. ¿Listo? Para poder empezar con la siguiente fase del proyecto el lunes. No, el lunes es festivo, el martes. Okay? So if you can finish with, it's important to finish with this step this week. But if you don't have time to finish, we are going to take some extra time. So don't worry. Any other question, guys? Let me check the chat. A title, baby, you are going to decide. So I will write like Guide to Spot Fake News. That will be my title. That will be my cover page. And I will put like a lot of images and things, beautiful things, and all those kind of ideas. But you are going to decide if you don't want to write like Guide to Spot Fake News. Es como esos libros que ustedes ven como Bakery for Dummies. Something like that. That's a manual to cook. So you can decide. You can decide how to write it. You can decide how to design it. The important thing, to have a cover, to have an introduction, to have tips to spot fake news. Questions, guys? Well, babies, if you don't have any other question, I guess that we are going to begin with the workshop right now. Don't forget that I am going to be here the entire time, so if you have any question, you just have to open your microphone and to let me know. Okay? If you are confused with something, let me know. I am here to help you. Yes, this is a process, but it's a process that we are going to be doing together. You are not on your own. So, as I can see that you don't have questions, please take the time, begin with the workshop, and at the end of the class, maybe 3 minutes before finishing the class, we are going to check how is everything going. Okay, guys? So go ahead, babies. If you have questions, let me know.